Everybody, welcome to Absolutely Marvel in DC. I'm Sal, that's Hassan Kader, and we were talking about Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Oh my god, I can't believe it took us so long to talk about this movie, but let's jump into it.
I loved it. That is a perfect film in so many different ways. Animation style, voice acting, the Turtles voice acting, all the side characters voice acting. The world they built felt so incredible, and they did a thing that the Ninja Turtles never do. Let them be happy.
Grow up.
Happy guys.
Well, like, not even grow up, but yeah, like they gave him progression. Ninja Turtles is one of those properties that, as an old person, I grew up with and I loved, but every time that it strayed from the source and from the material, it got weird. Like, I remember, the animated series from '87. It was, a phenomenon. It changed the game. It arguably made the Turtles into what it is today. But like at a certain point, the TV people are like, well, but what do we have to do to make it fresh? And as a kid, I'm like, nothing. Like have them fight Krang, like have them fight Shredder. That's all I want. That's all I've ever wanted. And they're like, nah, make the Red Skies, make him have multiple mutations, send him to the future, bring him to the past. I'm like, what are you doing? And yet this movie is like, let's change basically everything you know about the Turtles and every expectation and convention you have for them, and still have it be just genuinely pleasant and wonderful. And I think it's because it's just well made. It's one of those things where it's like, if you make a well-made movie, it really doesn't matter what the details are, does it?
Right. It's just about, is this good or is this bad?
Is it good?
And in a pre-COVID, before the way movies are right now kind of world, this for me feels like $1 billion movie, maybe. Like it feels like it's a children's movie. It is.
Yeah.
Feels like it's got mature and fun themes for adults. Like this is a Shrek. This is a banger. This is a Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. It's a Pixar movie. It's so great. And Ninja Turtles is such a recognizable IP that has got little to no love or fanfare in how many years. And I'm not saying stuff hasn't come out. Don't get me wrong. And incredible stuff has come out. But big budget movie releases. Like you have a franchise that has stood the test of time, that has been so relevant in so many different mediums. And you've done what with it in the movie world, right?
Yeah,
like since the two kind of lackluster, frustrating CGI monster versions of them, which one of them was frankly a really good movie.
I will not go so far as say it was good, but Out of the Shadows, I watched and clapped my hands with the other two people in the theater when it came out.
Yes.
Literally, I remember I dragged my wife to go see it. We're watching this movie and I'm like, there's no one else here. And it, is it good? F no.
Absolutely not.
No, it's no. But
we had some good Turtles. They were like great voice actors, talent-wise.
I like the Turtles. I like Bebop and Rocksteady. Were a breakout delight. Casey Jones brought it right back to the bedrock in terms of suckage. That was lousy. Steve Amell, I've never seen a thing with that guy in it where he wanted to be there. And I'm like, I've never seen an actor never want to be acting. Like, it's just so weird to me. The only one I can think of is like,
that was his breakout movie role.
That was it. This is the movie for you, man. This is the movie to show people you have charisma, because Arrow did not work.
No.
And listen, no, Arrow worked in terms of selling and being a show, but never did it make me think, oh man, Stephen Amell should be in anything.
Stephen Amell has gone on to do one show called Heels. Grant Gustin, and then that is in 5 years since leaving Arrow. Grant Gustin's been gone for 1 year, and he's on his way to Broadway. And he's doing commercials with Ryan Reynolds, and they're joking about being the Flash the Green Lantern.
I know.
Real different career trajectories in accordance with how much people like you and dislike you.
Yes.
But
we're not talking about Out of the Shadows. We're not here to talk about Tyler Perry's Out of the Shadows. We're here to talk about Mutant Mayhem, which I remember, like, the idea of there being, like, we're just going to make all the mutant characters that ever showed up throughout the cartoon's history and have them all be in one movie at the same time. And like all the details that you hear about as an old school Ninja Turtles fan are irrelevant and have nothing to do really with the plot. It's like, oh man, Mondo Gecko's in this movie. Oh man, are there fun cameos? I don't even want to spoil that are in this movie. Is April O'Neil a person of color? If you read the comic books originally, yes.
Does that matter at all for the story that's being told?
Not even a little bit. In fact, it's really important that April O'Neil is like their age in this movie because of like what
go to
role
high
she
school.
plays, how they interact with each other. But overall, like the voice acting is top notch. These kids I've never heard of before in my life are so
Oh my god!
great.
Have you? So the lead, Nicholas Cantu, which I'm gonna do the Huss and Flexing. Friend of mine, love him.
No kidding.
He voiced Gumball in the Amazing World of Gumball.
Oh,
so incredibly talented for that. And then you'll know him and YouTube people know him. During the pandemic, they were doing like Minecraft Mondays and these like little YouTube tournaments. He has this incredibly famous clip of him chasing after James Charles while like playing Minecraft specifically to kill him. And he's like, I'm going to kill James Charles. I'm killing you. And he's like yelling, and they've animated it as Gumball yelling and running.
I love it.
And everyone knows now there's going to be a Ninja Turtles version of that. And he's so good as Leo. I mean, like they have children's voices. They have legitimate kids' voices and not, an adult woman doing a young person, like a child's voice
Which
it's
I never
so fresh.
It's funny. It's a thing that occurred to me. I've never actually seen a interpretation of the Turtles that actually depicts them as teenagers. Like they've been teenagers in terms of what a 50-year-old man thinks that a teenager is. But these are not even literal, but like they're pizza, cowabunga,
pizza
dude.
time, cowabunga.
What? That's all California lingo, and they're in New York. Why would they talk like that? But these kids like embody their roles. They do their thing. I mean, again, I'm a Donatello fan. Does Micah Abbey play him like I expected? No. Did I love Donnie by the end? Absolutely. Their interactions are key. Their joy is infectious. I don't really think that any of the there's a lot of stunt casting where it's like, oh man, like Rose Byrne is Leatherhead, like Giancarlo Esposito plays Baxter Stockman for 2 seconds.
And here's like Ice Cube though. Stand out. Oh my god, he's so fun in this movie.
Bizarre how good he is, like, because I haven't seen Ice Cube be great in something in a while. Maybe what was it? No, is that I'm trying to remember which one,
because his son is also acting actively.
Oh, is he really?
That's so much alike. And he played him in Boys in the the NWA movie. His son played him. So now you have two guys with the same vocal inflection running around Hollywood, and it's hard to keep up with where he is.
That's so great. No, Ice Cube was great.
Hannibal Buress was funny in it too.
Yes,
as random little thing. There's so many things. God, Jackie Chan was really good as Splinter.
Okay, so Jackie Chan is bizarre to me because he's like, it was okay. He plays like an old, like dad, like a New Yorker dad. But they're like, well, we'll make it Jackie Chan. Like, I was amazed at how well he nailed that part.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was like, when I heard Jackie Chan, I'm like, oh, right on. Yeah.
That's stunt casting at its finest. And he was like, let me land the stunt, dude. What?
Right. Yeah. Which, of course, he's good at. But, like, in terms of the voice stunt, yeah, he nailed it. Like, he's pathetic and sympathetic at the same time. And he's sad. And he's, he frustrates you, but you also understand where he's coming from. Like, there's a lot going on, a lot of layers to this movie in terms of like just the narrative and the character development overall that I was like, man, wow. Like, wait,
I love this movie. I was like genuinely in the theaters, just like, whoa.
Yeah.
That was awesome. This is awesome. Like giving them the spoilers for the ending, which if you're watching, you're 8 minutes into a review of it, you should have seen this already. It's an incredible film.
Yeah.
They go to high school.
Yeah.
They were wearing clothes, and I was like tearing up watching it because I was like, Ninja Turtles have never gotten joy.
No.
They're freaks who live in a sewer, who will die alone, who do nothing but save the city and are alone, except they have brothers. They need some ladies in their life. Okay. They need some things going on.
Yeah. It's a thing that I never thought that I needed for the Turtles because they've never outside of the Bay Turtles and occasional arcs for Raphael. It's really rare that the Turtles don't love kicking it in the sewer, eating pizza, surrounded by, their relatives. Like there's never really been an exploration of the Turtles being like, I really hate it here. Or like, I really want to be there. Like I deserve to be up there. It's only in like later interpretations after you've done all the Turtle stuff you can do. It was really brave to be like, first movie out of the gate. They're teenagers. They want to be out. They want to go. They want to move. And it's like, yeah, that is exactly what a teenager wants to do. They want to leave the house like earlier than they should. And they want to interact. They want to be social. They want to meet other people. They want to meet people with different interests. There was a pitch I heard years ago that was like, this is what the Turtles should do, where it's like, it's okay to have like a family, but to have individual interests. And like the Bay movies almost touch on that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where it's
They
like
get
each of them
close.
has a place they want to go, a person they want to interact with and connect with, but no, because it's still turtles and you can't. No. This movie is like, no, like if we get a second one, and I assume we will, but I feel like it's never a guarantee at this point. Um, if we get a second one, I would not be surprised if the turtles like barely interact with each other until there's a unifying threat. And
Which is
that's
cool.
completely earned because I also don't know where the hell this movie or franchise is going. I'm like,
which is
what?
fun. Which, like,
Yes,
isn't that fresh to have an IP that we
absolutely.
know but not know? And here's guys, the reason we're even doing this video, because it's been months, and me and Sal saw it months ago,
We saw it
is
in theaters.
because
It was, yeah.
Benny lobbed up right before he left, just like a casual, I actually hated that movie. I'll talk about it some other time. And I was like, I'm baffled by it.
Yeah.
Because, and I know why Benny didn't like it. Benny's gonna be like, I don't really like that Splinter learned martial arts from watching box office
Honestly,
DVD, whatever.
that's my only criticism for the movie, and it's really not a criticism for this movie because it wouldn't fit in this movie. Like, this movie is not about that. Do I prefer my turtles to actually be ninjas trained by a Japan descendant rat? Yes.
Of course.
Like, did I not get that? Absolutely. Does that affect my enjoyment of this movie? No. I have 10 other interpretations of the turtles where they do that.
Right. And the thing was, I mean, it was like, oh, I don't love the, and then Jackie Chan keeps being New Yorker immigrant dad, which is so funny in so many different ways. And it's like, yeah, whatever. Like, this is not, it's good that it's not what I wanted it to be, because that means it's doing something right. Because then at the end of it, I still loved it.
Yeah.
So, hey, living in a world where my media is both unexpected and entertaining. Wow. Like, I don't think I've had that in so long.
No.
It feels great.
No, it's true. Especially like a franchise picture that also manages to break the mold while still hitting the hits. That it gives me hope for the future, and it gives me hope for other franchises where I'm like, oh, you could still do it. You know, you could still make things that are familiar but different and engaging, but off the beaten path. And the reality is, and it doesn't undo anything. That's the other thing. This is very much its own thing, blazed its trail for itself.
And guess what, guys? Turtles does the multiverse. They could do a moment where they bring back your turtles that are the same, and they're all cowabunging, or my turtles, the OA turtles.
They're already there. There's 2 multiverse movies.
Yeah, already. I remember these. Turtles Forever, and then
Turtles Forever, and then the other one.
Yeah, the other one was not good. Turtles Forever.
I thought the other one was a little better because they got the real voice actors back. Like, for
yeah,
whatever reason,
you know what? As a kid,
yeah,
I hate to say it, I didn't recognize that they didn't have the original voice actors. But then rewatching, I was like, "What is this?"
Yeah, no, Turtles Forever. I'm like, "What have you done?"
Yeah,
but also, that's a pretty fun movie. Like, it's cool, and it, by the way, Spider-Verse well before Spider-Verse.
Everything was, man. Anybody, and that's crazy. The mainstream multiverse being Spider-Man related is absurd.
I agree.
DC Comics did it first. How many different cartoons in the 90s and the early 2000s did that? Yeah. Like, I've understood, like, multiverse is a big concept. I was like, why is 3 years old? I understood it. 4 years old, my cartoons taught me what the multiverse was.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know there was multiple crossovers. I need to watch. I saw one. I think I saw clips of the other one.
Yeah, I've seen clips as well, and I'm like, I kind of dug it. Like, I think this is pretty cool. I'll have to watch the whole thing. I don't even know if it's a movie or if it's a show, like, or a season or something. But in any event, Mutant Mayhem. Congrats to those to the directors, Jeff Rowe and Kyler Spears. The good writing and a reliance on the actors, not an over reliance. Like, the kids got to that big and egg and cheese scene, which I know they were hyping up, and I remember, like, I really loved it, and I was like, this is so funny because it's right place, right time.
That. Oh my god, so much of the movie is exactly that. And we talked about it like forever ago on a live stream months ago. But the reason that movie's so good, and for those of you who don't know, is because Seth Rogen, he directed and produced a lot of this. Like, they worked pretty hand in hand, and he's letting the 4 turtles are hanging out. They're taking a break between takes, and they're just like joshing each other. And he's like, hit record. Yeah. Hey, let's just let them do that. And then they did their little, like, I'm a New Yorker, bacon, egg, and cheese. And a lot of people complain. That's something that I haven't gotten to address at all. Really? The intense criticism of this film regarding its pop culture referencing. And it's like modernizing of the turtles. Dog, that's just what kids are. Like, I'm 25, so I've aged out a little bit of like what kids are into these days, but I'm at least in touch enough to know that they do talk like that, man.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry if it's annoying to you, and I get it. Like, it's not what you grew up with. It's not what you like. You don't want your kids being like, bacon, egg, and cheese. I'm wearing my Timbs. Yo, I'm trying to get litty. Like, you don't want to hear those things. I get it.
Yeah.
At the same time, guess what? This isn't for you. And that's also exciting because new generation of Turtles fans.
But the kids are also cringe inducing. Like, it's supposed to be uncomfortable. You're supposed to be like, what is the button on that scene? It's her going, yeah, I don't think you should do that if you want people to like you.
I think you should do less of what you're doing, and people maybe will like you more.
People maybe will like you more.
Oh my God.
That should have, if you hated it, that should have been your moment to be like, oh, yay, good. Because, like, that's horrible. It is, but, like, for me, the takeaway for me was big. Was Donatello's obsession with mollywhopping, and how it it just really stuck with him.
So dumb. I want to watch this movie again right now.
That was mollywhopping me. So great. Superfly's great. And everyone's sympathetic. Like, it's a movie that dares to be mature with a very immature concept, where they're just like, here's a person who lifetime of abuse and neglect. This is what happens from that. You know, and this is a group of people who have been like fallen into groupthink, and what happens with that? Here's what happens with indoctrination. This is what happens when children are given too much restriction or not enough restriction. Like, I'm like, wow, and done healthy and modernly. Like, it's easy for them to go. Like, it would be easy for a dude in his 40s to be like, what these kids really need is for Splinter to show up and kick their ass. You know, like, put them in their place. You know. Like, I can very much imagine like a very antiquated concept applied to this movie. And yet it manages to be modern and progressive, but not in like a capital P way, and just kind of like in a natural contemporary way, where I'm like, it's a contemporary flick. I'm like, wow. For a 40-year-old franchise.
Yeah. And you know what? Golden age of animation. Golden age of animation.
This animation, it's funny. I was occasionally put off by how ugly everyone was, because they are, like, you know, when you use the textbook definition of what it is, they are off model. These people do not look attractive, but we did it the other way.
Yeah,
you know, we did a full CG movie that's more like Pixar or more like DreamWorks, and it made like $1.50.
Yeah, it's a rough looking film. Like, and I like that.
Yeah,
that was
I like that movie too
for me as a kid.
Yeah,
I love that movie. Like, Raphael in the metal suit is so cool. Oh my God. So incredible.
I know. But it's a rough go.
It's a rough go. And this one has style, flavor, energy. It's just cool in a way that I think, like, Puss in Boots did this. Spider-Verse has done this. This film has done this. Nothing else. Which is great, because Pixar did about 50 movies in the same style. DreamWorks did about 70 movies in the same style. And now we're like, this feels more hand-drawn. And it's not, obviously, but like,
it does
I
feel
like texture. I like texture. I want to touch something. I don't want it to be smooth anymore.
People need to bring this up in the conversation where people are talking about the movie Wish and how crappy that looks, and how like it's so samey and corporate and AI induced and garbage. Like, we should be talking about that Ninja Turtles movie that came out, because that is the antithesis of this. I should also point out there's one other criticism I have for the movie. The needle drops. I felt like, I love needle drops in flicks. I think it's fun. I think every single scene has one.
And
I'm like, you don't need it. Felt almost like it was worried you weren't going to. It was almost like, please like me. Here's a song you might like. If you don't like what's happening on the scron, you can just listen to the music. And I'm like, you don't need that. You don't need that. Now, that being said, like, it reminds me of I was doing a review of Homecoming a couple of years ago with DJ, and we were talking about how the trailer for Homecoming had modern music in it, but like, of course, in the movie, Spider-Man is swinging to the Ramones, like the kids do. You know, like, because, well, I'm a director. I'm 45 years old. When I was a kid, I liked the Ramones, and it's like, this kid was born after 9/11. Are you kidding me? Like, but so that all to say, I don't know. I like No Diggity being the song in the montage, and I think because it hasn't been played in 25 years, maybe people were like, "Ooh, I like this song." It was very popular.
Yeah. No, I definitely had some people like enjoying that in my theater and like really loving that moment. It's funny that you said that because I was racking my brain just then of like what was the iconic, because there was one iconic musical cue that I was like, that's really good.
Yeah.
And everything else was kind of just okay.
Exactly.
But great. You guys have things to improve on this next movie.
That's
awesome.
True. That's
awesome.
True.
You didn't hit it out of the park music wise, because some directors got it, some directors don't. Now you guys can get it. You can get it on this next one. And like, then you've, in many ways, I think, made a perfect film. If we're looking at this film of the merits of what the film sets out to do, what the film accomplishes,
it nails it.
And it's perfect. It's perfect. If you're a Turtles lore fanatic and you're an OG, you you want this to be everything you wanted, TMNT, ooze, and the whole 9 yards, it's probably not it.
No. Go watch the 90s. Go watch the first movie again. It's still great. It still holds up.
Judith Hogue, fantastic. What's her name? Paige Turco after her, less fantastic, but still
fantastic.
Fun.
But she's there. You know what? I'll be honest with you. When I saw Secret of the Ooze, I didn't notice at first. So
I 100% did not notice at all as a kid.
Yep.
I only noticed because I liked Paige Turco and something else, and I looked up her discography, and I was like, oh, she wasn't in the first one, which is silly because I think Judith Hogue was in a lot more nostalgic stuff for me as a kid, like Halloween Town and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But no, this is such a great film.
Yep.
And we'll get to the bottom of why Benny didn't like it one day, because it's I guarantee it's what I think it is.
Yeah.
Because this is what I want movies to be. We just had a whole discussion on why I don't like the MCU and why things are stale and frustrating.
Yeah.
Put a little bit of this energy in there, man.
Yeah, like it's very inclusive, but not with a capital I. Like it's like it reminds you that different interpretations are acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
It is not reductive. It doesn't take away from what was. It doesn't, and it also doesn't dunk on what was. That's I think the real takeaway. It's like here's a new Turtles, and it unapologetically is, but also isn't like. And by the way, like while we're here, that stuff you liked was real dog shit. Like no, it doesn't do that. And it's like that is a language that current media does use to make media, where they're like, well, by the way. Like while we're here, we also have to have the character say something reductive about what came before or about the comic book interpretation. You know what I mean? Like there is. I think every MCU character has to have some point say something like, "By the way, the thing that you like is kind of stupid."
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, leave your personal opinions at the door, folks, and make your goddamn IP movie that's trying to make action figures. Okay, come on.
Yeah.
But yeah.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
This movie is a 10 out of, or you know what? 9.7 out of 10.
Exactly.
They need to earn that soundtrack. They need to earn that soundtrack.
Right?
Beat next movie.
Yeah, I had
I
have criticisms, but I also I don't care. That's the thing that's most important is like they're criticisms, but they're who cares? At the end of the day, did I enjoy it? Yeah. Do I find the characters kind of like hard to look at sometimes? Yeah. But
not the Turtles though.
No, Turtles are easy to look at.
Turtles are cuties in this, man. They're great.
There might be some kind of like math involved where it's like make the Turtles the most attractive people in the movie, so that they immediately identify with the Turtles, and then they don't think about anyone else around them. Like so that they put themselves directly into their shoes. Because like, well, they're the least objectionable looking thing in the movie. I guess I'm like them.
Let's never make them look like ogres again. Let's
Please.
Never look at the Michael Bay movie. If you do that, you're fired. If you make anything that resembles that, you're fired. You can keep the colored headbands. That's all you get from the Michael Bay movie.
But they're scary. No, they're scary.
Terrifying.
They look like they smell bad. Anyway.
They probably do smell bad, frankly.
Well, I mean, the reality is they all do because they live in the sewer, but those turtles, they're a problem. But moving on. Mutant Mayhem, check it out. It's probably on Blu-ray or whatever.
It's on everything. It started streaming right after it came
it's on Paramount Plus. You can watch it.
But yeah, before that streaming service goes away. Do that.
Yeah, buy the Blu-ray. Save media. But we'll see you guys next time with another episode. So long, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.